All right, here goes.
Don't start. Fucking asshole.
What the fuck is going on, everybody? My name is Ethan Ragsdale. I'm your host this week. This is We Don't Know Movies, brought to you by We Don't Know Network. I'm here with my cohorts and co-hosts, Kaleb, Edward, Edley. I don't fuck that up because I'm a real friend. Jared, Webnuts, Webb, and Jacob Wolf.
What's going on, guys?
All right, guys, quick run around before we get into this week's topics. Anybody want to have a check-in, update, life circumstances, anything going on that we want to talk about? We talked about the movement, our cultural, social climate going on a little bit last week. We can talk about that a little bit today if you guys want to. Just a little bit of a check-in. Kaleb, what's up?
I got nothing, man. Power to the people.
Absolutely, power to the people. Jared, what's going on with you, my brother?
Not a whole lot, just gearing up for summer, hoping things start opening up.
Yeah, likewise. What about you, Jacob?
Not too much. Looking at going out protesting this weekend.
Nice.
With everyone else out there. So
good.
Anyone that wants to make a trip up to Raleigh, you are free to come out with me.
Maybe, man. I'm coming up this weekend, so.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that you're coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I am. Hopefully I don't see any of you. All right, guys. So to get this week's episode started, it's under We Don't Know Movies from the We Don't Know Network. Again, reiterating that. What we're doing today is top 5 Disney films. And what we like to do, we like to be structured, but there's a loose structure, right? There's variations to structure. And it's a minimal structure here because, Caleb and I were having this conversation earlier prior to the podcast. What kind of Disney films? There's Pixar, there's live actions, there's Disney Channel original movies, there's different titles, right? But what I said, just the guise of any Disney direct film or Pixar, kind of mixing those in together. Really, whatever you want, there's really no limitations as long as it's Disney, right? Not some different far-off variation like ABC's owned by Disney. We're not doing that, right? Just straight up. Disney can be Renaissance, it can be animation, it can be live action. Spoiler alert, I didn't include any on mine. They didn't crack it into my top 5, but just top 5 mix of Pixar and Disney films. And that's what I went with. I did some of my mix are original Disney Renaissance films and Pixar. So we'll go in order, we'll create an order. And like I said, we like to have a structure here. So we're not going to just say what's our favorite film and move on. We'll add a little bit of insight. And what we're doing just to go a little bit in depth is we are going to say our films from top 5 to 1 in order of descending order. We're going to say one thing we like about the film and one thing we do not like about the film, where it could be improved, right? So we'll go in order. We'll go in the order of my screen. We'll go Jacob, Jared, Kaleb, and I, and we'll continue that. So we'll start with 5. And Jacob,
Finally, I'm not first.
All right, thanks for fucking that up.
Damn it, Jared.
I know.
He's so mad that he's not hosting right now, that's all.
Like, yeah, just put in, not first.
Motherfuckers, I'm going to Disney.
Yeah, as you see, I'm at Disney World right now, so I'm better than all of you guys.
What are you talking about? I've got fucking
You're not in Disney World. You're
magic.
That's Fantasia.
I am in the magic of Disney. I'm part of it.
First off, this motherfucker said Fantasia, which I've never heard of in my life. It's Fantasia. It's
okay, cool.
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
That's a porn, I'm pretty sure. And then, Kaleb, you're in space.
You might be
You're
right.
not in Disney. That's definitely space.
No, this is magic. This is the magic realm.
Magic, space, whatever. All right, so top 5 Disney / Pixar films. Jacob, you want to start us off with your number 5, telling us one positive thing, one negative thing. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say that this is in order, top 5. It's just that these are the top 5 that I came up with. Just because these are my top 5 favorites, I never really chose to put them in order.
That's fair enough.
Personally. But number 5, I have Fox and the Hound.
Nice.
Good one.
This was kind of an overlooked movie. I feel like a lot of people forget that this was, that came out, I guess, that kind of time frame. I can't really tell you when it came out. Probably like late 80s, I guess.
No, it was way before that.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess 50s. That's my guess, but I will fact check that while you talk.
Yeah, sure.
64.
1981.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Wow,
Is it 81?
you're closer than I am.
It was in the 80s.
Yep, I was off.
Huh, look at that. Shit. I know movies, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, for this, it was always like, to me, I loved the Hound in the movie. Or not the Hound, I mean, the Fox in the movie. That was one of my favorite little stories. I was also living in West Virginia whenever I first started watching this, so I think just that kind of like in the woods kind of all the time setting that they had kind of reminded me of home a little bit. And for negatives, I would say the way they treated like the hunter in the movie like really made me like not feel comfortable as a kid like watching that, because we hunted as a family, but Disney's always got like a bad relationship with hunting. So it always kind of puts like a negative light on there and makes them seem ignorant a lot more than they really are. Granted, I've met people like Slade, I guess is the name of the hunter in this movie. Mm-hmm. But that's not the common denominator. It's not,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, hunting is a very cultural thing. It's not. I mean, I live in Miami now, and it's not really accepted here. I did it growing up. It was part of our culture, Southern Bible Belt. North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee culture. It's just how we grew up. West Virginia, for sure, how we grew up. So yeah, it's.
And other than that, the way the sad scenes in that movie were sadder than like any other Disney film for me, probably because it was animal based, like dog kind of animals.
Dude, when she left him out in the woods,
I have that specifically written down.
Bro, that's where boys become men,
bitch.
dude. Boys become men, yeah.
That song while she's driving, like she's basically singing it in her head.
Yeah.
And Todd's just like sitting there looking at her like so happy that he's in a car. Yeah.
It reminds me of like the way people leave dogs, in real life. Like,
it's fucking
dog
rough.
thinks everything's good.
Dude, it's fucking rough, man. I mean, and that's a whole nother topic, dude. Like, it's just like having a child. Like, I have 2 dogs, and one of mine is not what I expected, right? My pit bull, she's crazy. She's very hard to keep, but it's a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to work around it. You can go way into topic.
With the animal too. I mean, you got training goes along.
It's like a baby. I mean, if it's not what you want it to be, you're gonna rehome it. It doesn't work that way. You signed up for that dog's life for the decade and a half. You signed up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what me and Kelly say about George all the time. We're just like, how could anybody give him back to Tony?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was so sad to hear because he seems like such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
He is. He's the best. Too much energy. That's what they said.
Some people just suck, dude. Some people just suck. They're not meant to have it. They pick and choose, and you don't get to do that. They want it to be a certain way, but they're a sentient being where they have their own motives, their own feelings. And dogs are, in some ways, more difficult than humans because they don't have a sense of understanding, right? They can't change their behavior. We can commit behaviors, commit actions, and we can reflect and act on that, right? But as dogs, they can't. So sometimes, in some essence, I'm not saying they're harder than a newborn, right? But in some ways, they can be because you can tell them certain things, but they'll never fix that action. Yeah, now we're getting to a whole nother topic, but still, it's relative to the movie.
English,
It is.
Yeah. It's relative to the movie because that's what makes you so fucking sad. He can't fix his ways.
I mean, and then especially, even at the time, I didn't have a dog yet, but once I finally had my first dog, I rewatched that movie.
Yeah.
My first dog got killed by a car. And it's one of those, like, that scene where the dog gets hit by the train in the movie, like, it just hits you even that much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, less sad stuff. Jared, what's your number 5?
Number 5 for me, I have Jungle Book.
Oh, that's on my list too.
Yeah. Movie is honestly, this was a hard topic. I mean, I love the topic. It was just hard to narrow it down. But Jungle Book, I love all the characters. I mean, you have like King Louis. He just goes many different obstacles, which are different characters, which I really loved about the movie. The only thing I guess I didn't like is I don't like that he has to go back to the man village in the end. I want him to stay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only negative that I have. So
that's fair.
I would say the negative for like the buzzards. That's what I have listed on mine. I did not.
You don't like the beetle buzzards?
Yeah, I didn't like them. It felt out of character for the entire movie. Because I mean, like maybe if you want to go like real philosophical, like the way the British were fucking feeding off India at the time, I guess maybe if you want to get super fucking in depth with it, which maybe that's not even what they meant, but the buzzards just felt so out of character for the entire film, and then it was just like a weird, like almost shoehorned in there.
Yeah,
but that was my only complaint about the movie, as well.
Yeah.
The music in there is like one of my favorites of all time. Me and my dad used to.
Oh yeah, soundtrack's excellent. Soundtrack's excellent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shit slaps.
Slaps.
Do people still say slaps?
Sure.
Ethan and Kaleb, I really wish we could have somehow. Obviously, the royalties would have been like massive amounts of money to do Jungle Book for one of our plays.
Oh yeah,
that would be really bad.
Sick. That would have been amazing. I would love to be Baloo.
I want a Dylan to be Baloo. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I want a Dylan to be Baloo, and then me be King Louie. I wanted us to have that
that dynamic.
singing. Yeah.
That's
Real
awesome.
quick, I know that we're not talking like live action that much on here, but the live action remake of Jungle Book. Did you guys like Christopher Walken in that one?
I did. I love him.
I thought that was a really good choice.
But when people don't like it, I can understand why too.
Yeah.
Didn't see
Yeah.
it.
I think you either love or hate Christopher Walken.
For sure,
Yeah,
he's very
that's
acquired taste, like Steve Buscemi. They're like, you know,
yeah.
they either annoy you or you like it.
Christopher Walken's like the comedy version of Steve Buscemi, I think.
Literally, I
That's
love
how I
Christopher
feel about
Walken.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Caleb, you're up. What's your number 5, my man?
All right. Well, like Jacob said, these aren't like the only one that's like constant is my number 1. That's always my number 1. The other ones fluctuate, but for right now, number 5 is Mulan.
Okay.
I really like. I like Asian culture. Like I like anime. I like Japanese food. I know it's Chinese, but
Sure.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like I like that whole aspect.
They're more
of it.
connected than they are to America. I get it. Yeah.
Sure. But my positive is prime time Eddie Murphy. Like it's not 80s Eddie Murphy, but in the 90s he was still doing pretty good things. And I'll Make a Man Out of You, one of the best songs out there.
Of course.
I still sing it sometimes in the shower.
Oh yeah.
And my negative kind of goes with my positive is there's not enough bops. Like you got like Reflection and I'll Make a Man of You. The rest of the songs are just kind of
I can see that. It's a really good film. I do enjoy Mulan overall.
Yeah, I think I
a different
honestly
message.
think Eddie Murphy's like lines in it were on point.
To me, supporting main characters are very important, right? They're super important, especially in Disney films. You have that comedic relief supporting character, and that's what Mushu is in Mulan, and it makes the film. It makes the film.
Yeah.
It does.
Shame on Your Cow is like one of my favorite lines of like all Disney.
The shame,
Yeah.
Shame on
family,
you,
shame on your cow.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the ancestors and all that. Awesome.
And to have Eddie Murphy as that comedic side character, that's a big person.
Big
to
deal.
be
Oh, of
just a
course,
side
especially
character.
back in the day. Now he would not be. You know, he wouldn't just do random
Right.
film. But that was back
He
in the
made
heyday.
Mushu bigger than I think he made Mushu bigger than if somebody else did it.
It's simple mathematical equation. Mulan is a better movie that he's in it than without, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And that's why there's big controversy. What's coming up was supposed to be coming out next month, the Mulan live action that Mushu's not going to be in the film,
Right.
which I understand. I get it because
yeah,
they want a more serious feel. Some
Yeah.
films don't have comedic relief actors, right? They don't have that.
I think they're trying to make this Mulan more
Historically.
of
Yep.
Asian culture, like more exact
and more
like an Asian film.
feminine upbringing, more cultural
Oh, yeah.
issues and shit like that.
Yeah.
Caleb, do you have anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
No, you guys are
I mean,
great.
he got
Awesome.
up and left in the middle of it, so I'm assuming not.
Yeah, I felt like
I
he
had
was
to go
pretty
check on the
validating
dog.
that.
The dog was crying. Had to see what he was doing.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was one of y'all. I thought it was Bailey at first.
All right, guys. To round up our top 5, I did mine in the order because I'm obsessive and I love Disney a little too much, probably. So yeah, mine's distinctive orders. Like 5 is 5 for me, 4 is fucking 4 for me. And if they switch, something has to happen. My 5 is Tarzan, 1999 Tarzan. I love Tarzan. I kind of wrote a little too much of my goods and bads, so I'll try to be as brief as possible so we're all on the same equal wavelength of our pros and cons. My pro is that I love a story with a sense of belonging. All he wants to do is fit in, and he will do whatever it takes to be one of the group gorillas. He wants to prove himself. Oh my gosh, what's his name? To the main gorilla. I'm bad with names.
His dad
Kojak.
gorilla.
Kerjak, thank you.
Yeah.
He wants to prove himself to Kerjak, right? That's the whole plot at the beginning, is that he wants to belong because he lost his family to the jaguar in the beginning of the film, and then his new found mom adopted him, and she wanted him to belong. He wanted to belong, and I love this origin story. Also, I kind of combine my pros. It has the best soundtrack in Disney history, and you can't argue with me on that. Just my opinion. I think it is the best Disney film soundtrack with Phil Collins. It just has bops from beginning to end.
Phil Collins goes hard.
Dude, he fucking kills it. It's so good, just from beginning to end. My negative here is that the origin was so good, the beginning was so fucking good, is that when it got to the halfway point to the end, that the main plot was rushed. The origin story and beginning were great. We got the depth we needed in the beginning, but his changing and connections to Jane and the American way of life, this colonization that went through him, were rushed and not very transparent, with a lackluster ending that I think we got. The fucking first 30 minutes, 45 minutes of the film were great. But the middle to the end just kind of rushed with the antagonist trying to come and eradicate everyone. It just wasn't really my thing. But the beginning was so important to me, and all the music was so important. And him having friends with Turk and the Elephant, it was just really moving, and I really enjoyed that part. And that's what made it in top 5. I think if the plot wasn't as rushed and you got him loving Jane and him kind of abandoning his friends and giving those good reasons, it might be popped up a little bit more. But the soundtrack and the origin story just made it in my top 5 for me.
The music is good. My only problem with the
for
music...
anybody who's never listened to like Genesis and the Genesis album, which is Phil Collins' band from the 80s, or late 70s, early 80s.
And Caleb, if you wanted to hit on that comment that you were going with.
I do like the only problem I have with the music's great, but I felt like to me that it didn't know if it wanted to be like a musical like most Disney films are, or if it just wanted to have soundtrack music in the background, and that kind of disconnect.
That's smart. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, because when they have, I remember playing the video game in the late 90s, early 2000s on the computer, and you had the things where you broke the like that when they broke the plates and stuff in the camp,
right?
And like they made the musical part, and then they had the soundtrack. So it's kind of a fusion, a weird fusion,
right?
Yeah.
So
all right.
First
one on to number 4.
Jared, one last comment. What were you saying?
Tarzan's World, and Kingdom Hearts number 1.
Okay.
That was like my favorite world to go to.
Nice. I never played Kingdom Hearts. Very unpopular opinion, but I never played it.
Because you got to do that slide down the tree thing. I thought it was fun.
Nice.
But yeah, moving on.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, moving on to number 4. Jared, you're start us off, right?
Fuck me, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Jacob, I got more to mess up. Jacob, you're first.
No, my number 4 is actually Moana.
Nice.
I really liked Moana. It's one of the newer ones, obviously, but I can't shake just like that. Those are 3 songs in there that are just fucking phenomenal. Where You Are. The one by The Rock, You're Welcome,
yes,
and the really fucking popular one that I cannot remember for the life of me for some reason because I rushed this list really quick. Fucking love it. The girl that does the singing is the Broadway girl.
Yeah.
Ethan, you could probably help me out with that. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I got you.
The only negative I really had about that movie, I kind of wish that they had used the monster world just a little bit more, because we got that really good scene with the giant crustacean. The guy from Flight of the Conchords was in there, I fucking love that line where he's like, bioluminescent algae. Like, just a little fucking, his attitude is always really funny to me. I wish they'd been able to use him a little bit more, but then also would have felt forced. So, hard to really, harp on that too much. Yeah. And they also got that really fucking racist costume that came out for children shortly after that.
Yes.
People were freaking out about like kids, like they were wearing like
the skin color change.
The skin color sleeves. Yeah.
Just to interject to help you out with your point really quick. The girl's name is the main cast of Moana. Her name is Olai Cravalho, and you're talking about Tamatoa was the crab, and I fucking hated that scene so much. Fucking hated
that scene.
It was like an LSD trip. It didn't do anything to further the plot.
See, that's my thing. I watched
hate
it
being
with
an
the
English
lights
teacher,
off
dude.
on a
I hate
4K TV. It was fucking wild.
Yeah, it's cool for the moment, but like plot-wise, it did nothing to further the plot. It was just another.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nothing.
But it's also a kids movie, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I wish they had used more of it, because then it would have made more sense to have.
Well, first off, fuck kids. Disney's for me.
So, but like,
Disney grows as I grow.
Do it for the kids, but not this one.
Ultimately, that is my my big gripe with the movie is that maybe that's why I don't like that scene as much, just because it does feel like it doesn't further the plot besides just getting his fucking weapon back. And that's why I feel like they could have used that area more. Maybe like actually search around and get some character development out of it.
Absolutely. And the song you were talking about, I think, is How Far I'll Go. That's the main song.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just didn't want to interject while you were talking. But yeah, How Far I'll Go is the main one, because she sings it 3 times, I believe, at the beginning, middle, and end of the film.
Yeah.
She does.
Awesome. That's a great 4. I'll be spoiler alert. That did not crack it into my top 5, but we had a top 10 list, and that was in my top 10. but we deduced it to top 5 because we're doing a lot of talking just for top 5. But it's a really good film. I love Moana very, very much. But this is my thing. I think the potential was so high, and they kind of delivered right here. I think the potential for the film was greater than it actually delivered to be. That's why it's not my top 5.
It's awesome that they went out of their way almost to make Pacific Islander.
Yes, that's the point, man. The potential's so fucking there, but they just didn't really deliver with it. I thought like the characters were great, cast was great. Dwayne the Rock Johnson, this unheard of girl with a beautiful voice, and you want to go a step further. She's a bisexual woman, which is cool for diversity and Disney integration, which is cool. I mean, shit like that. But I just thought the plot itself was, but the theme, right? You have your 5 components of a story: characters, conflict, theme, character, whatever, and theme. And the theme was good. I love the theme. The theme was excellent. We had that. All right, moving on. Jared, what is your number 4?
So my number 4, I have 101 Dalmatians.
You look like a 101 Dalmatians kind of guy.
The cartoon?
Yeah. See, so for me, I didn't put a lot of Pixar in here.
That's fair. If it didn't fit, it didn't get there.
I could do a top 5, like just Pixar. Disney.
Sure.
But I just went with more of like, what did I like to watch most as a child? And so 101 Dalmatians, the drawings, I like how the animation drawings, you can almost see the artist's drawings as they're moving.
Yeah, I see that.
How the animation was. I love that. I love how Pongo kind of narrates it at the beginning and gets like, this is how it all began. This is how we came together. Love that. Love the music.
I think you brought his name up last week too, and we were all like, who the fuck is Pongo?
Pongo, the dad of all the 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, you were the only one that knew that. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure you brought that up last week too, and we were all kind of confused.
Pongo, and then what is his wife's name?
Don't ask us. We didn't know his name either.
I want to say Penny or something like that.
If it's
anyways,
doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it sounds
right. I want to say it ends with a Y. We'll just say that.
I'll look.
Also, love one of my favorite scenes is where they decide that they don't be nations right now. We're gonna be Labradors, and they all get in the soot and they all become black and stuff to get away. And Cruella de Vil is one of the best Disney villains, I think.
It's Purdy.
Perdita.
Purdy. That's it.
I do love Cruella de Vil. She's awesome, and also
very good villain.
Yeah,
she really turned me on as a child in a weird way. I'm so sorry. I know that's really weird because she's ugly, but I know, dude, something about her that fucking jacket, like, and those heels. I just like wanted her to step on me. But we're getting too deep
now.
Ethan likes them pointy nipples.
We're learning a lot about Ethan today.
Shout out to my students. As a child, I wanted a character to step on me with her red high heels. So
I hope every single student you ever have listens to this episode.
Just that last 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Going in the trailer.
If they do, I will no longer be employed with the public schools. So.
And the only thing I don't like about it, and it's not even the movie, I don't like the live action, to be honest, that they've made.
See, that's the one I watched more as a kid than the cartoon.
I like the people that they got for it. You
didn't like Glenn Close?
That are in it. I do. I love them all. I love all the actors and actresses. I just don't. I just never really to the film. It wasn't good for me.
I understand. Those are good points. All right, moving on. Kaleb, you're number 4. What did it do?
My number 4 is the same as my shirt. I'm wearing a Pizza Planet shirt for you that are just listening.
If it's Toy Story 2, I'm turning this off. Okay, cool.
It's Toy Story 1.
Nice.
The original. Yeah. I like it. It's the first real Pixar full-length film, and I mean, it still holds up today. I think the animation is still great. I don't look at it and be like, wow, we've really come a long way. I think it still holds up to what they do. It's got comedy. I mean, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks, America's Sweetheart. You can't go wrong there.
No, it's great. It's OG. It's complete OG, man. You really don't get much better.
Well, and also that was the bar for CGI for the longest time, because everyone would always say oh, video games will now look like Toy Story. That's what they always compared it to. And even going into PlayStation 4, they're like, okay, we can finally make it look like Toy Story.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not quite there. for video game. I mean, like it's still good. Like don't get me wrong, but it was such a high fucking bar
Yeah.
that they put out there for CGI. It
Was.
was really impressive.
Especially thinking about the time that it came out. Go ahead, Ethan.
Just real quick, not to divert, but me and my girlfriend talk about it all the time. Do you guys have a list of the Toy Stories in order that are your favorite?
I haven't
it's
seen the
kinda
fourth
hard,
one
but-
actually.
Okay, it's
I
good.
haven't either.
This is my quick opinion. Great, not needed.
Yep, exactly.
My order is 3, 1, 4, 2. Toy Story 3 is
think-
my favorite one, then 4, then 2.
I think I might go 1, 3, 2. Yeah.
1 is usually
That's how
most
I would go,
everybody's.
too.
I'm unpopular opinion. 3 is my favorite, but 1 is it's interchangeable. It's 1A, 1B.
3 is still
was-
good.
3 was
yeah.
the one with the teddy bear as the
Lots
evil.
of-
Yeah, when they were going towards the
Lots
of- Yeah,
incinerator
yeah.
at the end.
Hey, dude, that was a crazy evil villain for Disney because he was like a
Seriously.
manipulative villain, which we didn't really have that much. Where he was like loving and caring, and then he was like really malicious and really rough, which was a little dark for Disney, but needed because people are like that. You know, I know people have parents that are like that, and they could kind of relate, and it's important to get representation. So malicious evil character, where in other evil villains they're just straight out evil. You know their plot, you know what they want. With Lotso, it was underlying, dude. He was pretty evil, like put on this facade and then kind of just did evil actions.
It's important for kids to see that too. That just because someone behaves politely to you at first doesn't mean they're not a dick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
First
that's-
impressions aren't
Some people
everything.
put on fronts.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ethan, what your number 4 or Caleb?
Caleb, you want to add on?
Or
Did you,
Caleb,
did you talk about your
yeah.
negative?
My negative is
Okay.
Woody's just misunderstood. Everybody thinks he's an asshole the whole movie, but he's trying to shake Buzz out of this like delusion that he's in, and then all these other toys are falling for it, and then he gets shit on for being an asshole. He's actually trying to help them come back to reality.
Yes. One great thing about
Yeah.
Toy Story is the character development. To further your point, Caleb, is Mr. Potato Head was the cause of that, right? He it really kind of reminded me of the Russian Revolution. Not to
Yeah.
get way too fucking deep, but it literally just like
Because of
how
potatoes.
Joseph Stalin pretended all these other people were really fucking bad, and he actually became a dictator himself. Whatever. But Mr. Potato Head thought Woody was awful and doing all these things and kind of furthering this propaganda, where in reality Woody wasn't. He was just what Caleb said to further this point, just misunderstood. But character development was great in Toy Story, dude.
Yes,
Like, you got
that
a lot from
negative
everyone
became a positive for the story.
in a certain way. There's silver linings, absolutely. Now
I
number
love how the
4.
cup keeps disappearing.
So, Mickey's giving it to me. It's with his magic. Here's your fucking cup. All right. My number 4 is a topic we are all familiar with as of 2 weeks ago. Mine is Hercules. It's my number 4, man. It's been my number 4 for a long time. It's right in my top 5. Not the best, not the worst, but it's good. And I connect with it. I love action. I'm a man. I'm a man. You know, like, and I. Disney has a lot of feminine stuff you can connect to. This is not one of them. But my favorite thing that I put was it's not traditional with the plot. He went. Usually they go from what? 0 to hero, but Hercules went from hero
Just like
to
that.
0 to hero, right? He had everything, then went to nothing, then back to everything, which was kind of cool. And I like that. It shows that if you, regardless of your circumstances, if you have the willpower and the positive mental attitude, regardless, you're going to get some sort of result, right? Because I hate how Disney always performs this dichotomous kind of result. It's either all or nothing. But in Hercules, you get a little bit, right? He got a little bit of his power. You get a little bit. Your circumstances kind of suck, but if you do your best, you put your best foot forward, you try, you train with Phil every day, and you're going to get some sort of results back. And that's what I like. Because to teach kids that you're either getting 0 or 100, that's bullshit. I think that's what's really wrong, a bit of our society, that why should I try something if I'm not going to reap all the benefits? No, try to reap some of the benefits, right? Do something for something. And Hercules really taught us that. My negative was it was hard for me to find a negative. It was. It took me a while for Hercules. It's really good.
It's on my list too. It took me a minute also.
But it's number 4 for a reason. So I'm like, Ethan, you got to have a reason it's not number 1, right? You got to have some negatives. I just wish there were more supporting characters. I wish he had someone he could rely on as a friend. He had these adoptive parents, but they didn't get screen time. They went to the farmer's market at the beginning when he wrecked everything when he was young, Hercules. But I wanted to have, where you have, the new Spider-Man, right? He has supporting friends, like at the beginning, like people who kind of understand him. Like you can have bullies too, but give him someone who kind of relates to him and understands him a little bit. That was my biggest con.
It's like if Pegasus could talk, it would have been.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Say,
that's
Pegasus
a good point.
Could talk.
But he didn't really have Pegasus until later on, right? He didn't have him as young Kirk, did he?
He got him. He
gets him like 15 minutes into the movie.
He got him after he goes and sees Zeus for the first time.
Yeah, right before he goes to train with Phil.
That's right. So, but even before that, though, when he was wrecking everything, I wish he kind of had someone who understood him because he did it. You know, just at least one person to have that build up for us to know a little bit more about Hercules. And what the last point I put that he didn't really have anyone until Phil was his mentor. He had Pegasus, sure, but
it's just not the same because he only has Pegasus for like maybe 5 minutes before.
It was more of a transportation character, and not really a supporting character.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys, we're through with our 5 and 4. Now we're getting into our top 3. Jacob, start us off with number 3.
So since Jungle Book was already mentioned, that's my number 3 right now, and I've already said what I had to say about it with the buzzards. I mean, I just want to give a shout out to Coco. I really loved that movie, Coco. Really sad ending with the grandma dying, but also with it, spoiler alert, obviously. But
that's one I haven't seen yet.
No, but the music in that movie is fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
I really like the fact that they do the whole Dias des Mortes kind of setup. It's one of those things like. It reminds me of the LSD trip that you mentioned with the crustacean scene in Moana,
sure.
But it's like the entire film almost isn't like that kind of art style.
Yeah.
It feels like it has a slightly different art style than some of the other Pixar movies, so I just really enjoyed that one.
It's definitely unique.
And brings that kind of cultural reference to the forefront. Only other thing to say bad about it, I guess, I didn't really like the way the way they treat him in the human world, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's only so much I can really go off that. I watched it twice.
So to clarify,
I really enjoyed it.
Jungle Book was your number 3, but
Jungle Book was. I just want to give a quick shout out to Coco since we were
cool.
Talking about
What's that word
like
I'm looking
honorable
for?
mention.
God, Caleb, you read my freaking mind. That's the word I was thinking of. I was like, Caleb, what's the word? I knew you knew it.
Hercules is also on my list, so I might give a shout out to that. And I'm sure my number 2 will also be on here. So
all right, cool.
I just might be the shout out honorable mention guy.
Yeah, we're gonna have some ones that we all have pretty similar interests.
Oh, yeah.
We're kind of same guys. So there's already.
I have some that are on the list that.
Yep, and people have already said me too. All right, awesome. Moving on, J. Dot. What is your number 3?
My number 3. It's a nostalgic movie for me. I love the music. Company is my number 3. I love Huey Lewis and the News, and that's who the music
real quick, Jared.
is.
Real quick, you broke up there for a second.
Yeah.
I know what movie it is, but just say your movie for the audience again.
Oliver and Company.
Okay.
Right.
Great
music is phenomenal. I love the character development of Oliver and a cat, basically hanging out with dogs all the time. Like kids would obviously love to see that. So, and the negative I honestly don't like the little girl in it, but
fucking children suck.
Yeah, but other than that, I love the whole film. I love the story, I love the plot, and the music. The music is really what did it for me. I love all those scenes, especially "Why I Worry." Love that song.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3. Yeah.
Good pick,
nice.
good pick.
Very good pick. Caleb, what about you?
Number 3 for me has recently been made into a live-action movie. It is Aladdin, but the cartoon version. My positive, I wrote this down 3 times. Robin Williams, Robin Williams, Robin Williams.
My top 5 actors of all time, for sure.
Without Robin Williams in that movie, what the fuck am I watching? Like, he is so funny. He brings all the comedic energy. Like, sure, Aladdin does some stupid shit. You got a little slapstick humor in there every now and then. But, like, Robin Williams is just fucking putting on a clinic in comedic acting.
He's arguably
not even
the best
acting,
supporting
it's voice
actor.
acting.
Yeah, arguably the best supporting comedic actor in Disney history that we've had.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of another one. I mean, Baloo's up there, but yeah. Go ahead. You're negative.
Genie will kick Baloo's ass any day.
I agree. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, don't try it.
I'm just trying to think of second best. That's all.
My negative is Iago. Fuck Iago. I don't. He's unnecessary.
No,
he kind of annoys me.
Yeah, really annoying.
doesn't add anything to the plot. I guess he was supposed to be like the evil side's comedic relief, but it's just
he kind of reminds me of Zazu from The Lion King. They kind of have the same effect, just like
I
annoying.
like Zazu though.
I do, but I'm just like, dude, you don't need to be here. I enjoy the film without you, bro. Like,
he's the king's major domo.
I don't know. Zazu's, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
Right? See, that made me laugh. Iago, I can't think of
there.
anything that he did that made me laugh.
that is nightmare fuel. That Jared just saying that like gives me sleep paralysis. Like, I'm going to hear that Jared's voice in the middle of the night tonight while I sleep. Nice. All right. So you said your negative point, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, moving on. My number 3, so shout out, fuck you, Jacob, for stealing my limelight, is Coco.
It actually made your list.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't expect it to make anyone's list.
Oh, dude, I absolutely love Coco. I've watched it a lot of times, and that's great that you said you didn't expect it to make anyone's list because it's a vastly underrated film. It didn't get that much market, right? Because you take Frozen, it's about money. Frozen was mass marketed. Production, commercials everywhere, toys, dresses, all that, right? Coco was just not.
The White Girl movie got a lot more press. Who'd have thunk it? Right?
Yeah, right. I was working at Disney when Coco was coming out, and they really the only portion they ever advertised it in the parks was in Epcot and the Mexico. What's the word, Caleb? The Mexican
Pavilion.
Thank you, pavilion. And they just had a little bit of advertising there. They didn't really have much. It's incredibly underrated. But to get in my pros and cons, I love Coco. I mean, it's number 3 for me. And that's huge. You know, out of hundreds of films, it's number 3. I'll run down my pros really quick. I'm white, right? And in a serious note, like, I don't know what it's like to have that. No, seriously though, I love this perspective. The family and culture are about acceptance and about love and all this, and it's about Miguel going through this process, right? But family members should love you. Just by existing, you know, not by your choices or by your interests. They should love you with a connection you share by blood without having at least some connections to family members. Your purpose is a bit lost. So I think that's what this film teaches us, is that you have to find your way regardless of who's accepting you. And I think that's really important because, yes, you do want your family to love and accept you, but ultimately you need to accept and love yourself first. And Miguel goes through that that denial of and that kind of leads into my negative, is that not one fucking family member accepted him. Why does it have to be a dichotomy? Why does it have to be good or bad the whole time? My con is that the whole fucking family said, fuck you, Miguel. You're making shoes, dude. No fucking music here. Like, give me one brother. Bro, they have like 1 million cousins or in the shoe shop, 1 million of them. Like, why can't you have one of them in the film support him? Like, go play music. He has this stupid dumbass dog that's supporting his music because he gives him food. Like, no, give me one character. It's kind of like my con with Hercules. He needs some supporting character
like
there.
Ant that's just like, no, go play.
Even in the skeleton world, everyone was against him. The only one was his abuelo. That was Coco's father, so his great-great-grandfather. Spoiler alert. But that was the only one who accepted him, and that was more than 45 minutes into the film.
And he was also the reason why music was the issue, though, wasn't he?
Yes, it was, and that was the falling action of the film, right? Don't give me a supporting character that supports his actions in the falling action, right? I need that from the rising action, much less the exposition, right? I want that to begin with. And that is a big con for me, right? That probably would have cracked top 2 if the grandma was against him, but not only that, his mom and dad and everyone else just was like, but not only is that whatever, I think it's unrealistic, right? To be everyone to be one certain way. But then again, I can have people argue with, and then other people could argue with me, well, in Hispanic culture, you really respect your abuela, right? That if whatever she says kind of goes.
I mean, you live in a Latin culture right now in Miami. I lived in El Paso, in New Mexico, like.
Very similar, Cuban, Mexican culture.
Also, I lived in Japan as well. Like, you respect your elders, but I mean, like, it's not to the point of you have to hate your entire fucking life.
Yeah, you have to respect your elders, but you shouldn't sacrifice something you love that's ingrained in who you are, your makeup, your interests, for the sake of someone else's benefit and their acceptance, which is bullshit, right? I mean, you know, like, hey, to stop doing something because that hurts me, that's fine, but stop enjoying what interest you to make me accept you. That's bullshit, right? And that's where it changes towards the end. And I really disliked the grandma. I really, really did. It actively made me angry. Like, I was like, fuck you. Like, he's playing guitar. Like, just because you had a shitty situation, a shitty experience, doesn't mean that he should, right? And that's part of the theme too. Don't reflect your experiences on everyone else. Same with the relationships. Just because you had a shitty relationship, don't bring it into your new relationship, right? It's kind of that same theme. Leave your baggage at the door, especially if you have fucking children. Don't bring your trauma into new things. And it could go on and on. I could write an essay about that because Coco's really important. But that con is a really big con. That was the first thing I wrote, was that con. It made me so mad. Like, and to bring it back so we can move on to number 2, starting with Jacob, is just not have everyone disagree with him. Right? Not everything be black and white. Give me some gray area. Give me some understanding, but not all the way. Right, it makes sense. All right, guys, moving on. We are up to our top 2. Jacob, start us off with your number 2 favorite.
Just one quick fun fact, though. When I did watch Coco, for some reason my Google Home decided to start playing weird zombie music at the end of that movie, and that's one of my most vivid memories of watching that film.
Nice.
So, my number 2 is The Lion King. I'm surprised that hasn't come up. Maybe it's closer to the top of y'all's list. But Lion King, by far, growing up, was one of my favorite movies. I know it's just a rewrite of Hamlet. I don't give a fuck. It's still a great film. The music slaps. I mean, fucking I Can't Wait to Be King is one of my favorite songs. Be Prepared will go down in history, regardless of the fact that it's a Nazi march. It's still a really good song. Scar, probably one of my favorite villains as a kid, just because he seems so... What's the best way to put it? Like sly, maybe?
Yes.
That's the way to put it?
Nonchalant.
I wouldn't say nonchalant. I would say like mischievous. You know,
Mischievous,
like
Okay, yeah, mischievous.
nonchalant says he just doesn't care, but
yeah, nonchalant is like jaded. You're just kind of.
I guess
But
in the
he was-
beginning he seems like that cool uncle that just like doesn't care.
Sure, but then he has an
But
underlying.
then he does.
Yeah.
then you have like the scene where he's just like scratching the wall, like like he's just like a different kind of villain, like maybe in that sense, just because he's super evil.
He's
you
a
can
cat.
tell, but he's trying to do his best to like act like he's not.
Yeah.
For a little bit there, comparatively speaking to Toy Story 3, where you don't know he's evil, obviously.
Yeah, it's more up front. You know what's happening.
Yeah, it's a very basic storyline, obviously. Like it's Hamlet again.
It is.
If you know Hamlet, you know Lion King.
And that's good because a lot of people don't, because a lot of people don't fuck with Shakespeare. I went to college and studied Shakespeare, and all my fucking dude, I was so excited to be a senior teacher, and every one of my fucking students hate Shakespeare. I'm like, well, fuck you, dude. I love Shakespeare.
I mean, there's 3 things you need to understand in order to understand literature, and it's Greek mythology, Shakespeare, and the Bible. 2 of those are on our list, with Shakespeare and Lion King and Hercules being Greek mythology.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's any Disney movies about the Bible. I hope not. I don't really know.
Fuck
Just-
the Bible.
Yeah, there is.
It's a great storybook, right?
Prince
What
of
is it?
Egypt.
That's
Nice,
that's
yes.
DreamWorks.
That's
not
Yeah, I
DreamWorks.
Disney.
think that was
It's not Disney.
No,
no.
they would not take that on.
Fucking idiot, dude. Come on. Was Balto
Awesome,
I
Disney?
just feel like it's
Come
the same
on.
as like Road to El Dorado.
Yeah,
Like,
Shrek.
I guess
Yeah, and that's
animation-wise.
DreamWorks.
Yeah, well,
Is that
Jared.
DreamWorks too?
Yeah.
Road to El Dorado
Where's
wasn't.
my
You're right.
mind
You got
right
that
now?
right though.
But no, guys, I'm
Sorry.
going to spoil it for you. Jared's number 1 favorite Disney film is Shrek. All right. Moving on.
Now I know
moving
that's
on.
DreamWorks.
Real quick, my negative
Yeah.
about Lion King though was Pumbaa and Timon. I didn't really find them to be that funny. I just never, even as a kid, I didn't find it funny. That was always my biggest negative about it.
I can't even roast you right now. Like, I don't even know. I love Timon
I'm
and Pumbaa, dude.
surprised.
Dude, if
Yeah,
I
it's
could
just-
get
I don't know,
wasted
fart
with
jokes
any
didn't
Disney
really get
characters,
me
it'd be
back in
them.
the day. Like, it's like I will say they made bugs look really delicious at one point.
Bro, that's my point. If you see an Instagram giveaway where you can win a 1-week trip paradise to hang out with Timon and Pumbaa, I would fucking do that, dude. It would be shit. It would be cool as hell. Get
Well, yeah,
mud
it'd be a great
bath.
story, but I mean,
I'd want to get wasted with Timon and Pumbaa.
I
okay,
think
now,
they're
all
pretty
the
funny.
characters in that film though, besides Nala, I guess, I didn't really find them. Obviously they played a big role, but it's just to me as a kid, like I just didn't find them that funny.
Fair.
That's all.
See,
Yeah.
That's your
go
opinion.
Funnier
watch,
now than I did as a kid, actually, which is weird.
go watch the Broadway show and tell me if you think they're funny or not. Because I think
Oh,
I think they're funny in the
Broadway show so bad.
I think they're funny in the movie, but I think they're funnier in the Broadway show.
Yeah, I can believe that.
I haven't seen the Broadway show.
Maybe it's the live dynamic, but I don't know. I found it
Oh,
pretty...
I saw the Aladdin Broadway show, by the way.
How was that?
Really fucking good. It was at the DPAC.
Okay.
Durham Performing Arts Center here.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to watch. The guy that was playing the genie was just fucking phenomenal.
Awesome. All
That
right,
is
Jared, you're up. Number 2, my man.
My number 2 is it's already been said, is Toy Story. And I mean, I don't really have any much or more to say about the pros and cons. I just love the...
Anything that sticks out to you personally?
I really love the... I don't really love him, but I like the... I can't remember the kid's name that used the...
Sid.
I thought that was a great evil
our antagonist for the film. He would be our antagonist.
Kid.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I really love that about the film, and the way that they got away and like scared the living shit out of him. I thought that was a really great scene.
He shows back up as a pizza delivery guy in some fucking movie too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he's the garbage man in the third one, or
Garbage Man. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, his life is ruined basically after he gets emotionally traumatized by some toys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Toys.
Toy Story is a little dark in some areas, dude, with all like the evil toys at the beginning, and that's cool because it teaches the message: don't judge a book by its cover. Remember, because they helped him with a baby and the little crawly thing. Like, you think this shit, like that scared me as a kid. Like, for real, that scared me.
Like the movie Toy Soldiers.
Any fucking way. But no, that shit, like, teaches you not to judge a book by its cover. It's important. Awesome. Yeah. That's a great one. Toy Story is a classic, man. And
yeah, it's classic. That's why I put it up there as too.
Yeah, and Kaleb made the great points, man. What a great fucking cast. Tom Hanks, dude. Dude,
I'll watch anything with Tom Hanks in it.
Killer voice, dude. I'll just listen. He's like Robin Williams for me. Like, not to be too weird, but like I could just listen to their voice, dude, like a bedtime story, bro. Like, put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, beautiful voice,
Samuel
beautiful
Jackson
voice.
telling a bedtime story.
And Tim Allen is he's also a great actor and just a great person in general.
Yeah, Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, dude, what a duo. Yeah, I love Tim Allen.
I always forget that Tim Allen.
That was a great
Tim Allen got in trouble for smuggling coke across the Mexican border. Fun fact, look it up.
Oh shit.
God,
Ron, locked up abroad situation.
How Disney themed. On par with our Disney theme. Cocaine and Disney.
Look it up. That's for you kiddos.
That's how I watch my Disney films. Got to do on.
We are gear this episode towards children on YouTube. So.
Right? Can't watch a Disney film without a good eighth of Coke.
All the pre-roll ads are going to be for toys and Fortnite.
Awesome. Fuck yeah. All right, Kaleb, you're up. What's your number 2?
My number 2 was Hercules, which has already been said. So I'm gonna take a page out of Jacob's book and do an honorable mention for the Aristocats, which I think is fucking phenomenal. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The jazz section, everybody wants to be a cat. Love that shit. Thomas O'Malley, so slick, and then he goes into this domestic lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
Great. But back to Hercules. My positive, the muses, love the muses, the gospel.
Oh, yeah.
They're like they're exposition, but they do it in such an entertaining way that I don't even give a shit, that I'm just listening to exposition.
Kaleb, you
all the
mean
time.
Hercules?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's great. That support they give, man, is awesome. I really love it. The music, it's good. It's just like where you just want them to call you baby, like just comfort me. Really, that's what I feel like. I felt like they're comforting me.
Yeah,
and
seriously, like that's kind of the role in the
truly,
movie,
and I've always liked that motherly figure kind of thing, just where you feel like a warm virtual hug, and that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
But that goes
into
the gospel truth. Go ahead.
You just ad-lib. Go ahead, Kaleb.
Oh, a little ad-lib. My negative is
Yeah.
more bops. Like I love all the music songs. I like Go the Distance. But other than that, I mean, Meg's song, it's all right. I won't say I'm in love.
Yeah,
but other than that, I'm like, we don't even have like a great villain song, which I feel like, James Woods not a singer or anything. And the way he characterized Hades, I couldn't actually imagine him singing a villain song. But, but like Disney villain songs are usually some of the best in my opinion. And I'm sad we kind of missed out on that.
I agree.
Those are really good points. Yeah, Hades didn't give all that multi-dimensional aspects that we could have gotten. Could have been a little bit better. Mm-hmm. All right, am I up?
You're up.
You're up.
Speaking of, that's my second film.
Yeah.
Up is my second favorite.
Oh, I thought I was going to say Aristocats. I thought.
No. I was trying to get a little joke. I was like, maybe you guys get it. But yeah, my second favorite of all time is Up. I mean, I have it tattooed on me. It's one of my favorites. It was my number one until my number one film that we'll get to next go around. But yeah, I wrote a little bit about this. I'm just going to read it, and piggyback off of what I did not write down. But I put the pro is that it teaches you to cherish your loved ones every second you spend with them. You won't know when they become memories, and that's really important. And truly, like, you hear that all the time, cherish the moments. But this movie really fucking teaches you that, right? I love the lesson of indulging every minute you spend with someone that you care about, and you listen to them, you understand them, you have fun with them. Because Carl is a bitter old man, right? But when he was a kid, he was absorbing of Ellie, loving everything that she said, all of these things. He was complete opposite, right? He set aside innately, instinctually, who he was for Ellie, right? He became this bubble of knowledge for her, like wanting to, eyes open, deer in the headlights, like, tell me more, just an absorption of knowledge of Ellie, and I love that. And it teaches you to enjoy it all so you can enjoy the memories later. Nothing good lasts forever, but hopefully you have a good memories to reflect on, and that's what Carl did. But my biggest con is a really big con, and but it's still number two. But the biggest one is that the first 20 minutes of the film were the best part. That was the best part. Him and Ellie, learning the origin story, the music, all that. That was the best part. After that, you lose me. You lose me until the end. I'll read what I put. That's what makes me love the film, the first 20 minutes. The rest of the film is it's good, not great. The plot kind of gets lost from the main love connection at the beginning of the film. Right? I love Russell. Don't get me wrong. Listeners, don't say I don't like Russell. I love Russell. He's that relief. He gives meat to our plot. But it's just with Charles Muntz that he becomes an enemy. Why do that? Carl loved Charles when he was a kid. He wanted to go to Paradise Falls. He wanted to achieve all this with Ellie. Why ruin it with a weird plot with weird dogs that have voices? And
I did love Doug, though.
Yeah, I love Doug. Don't get me wrong.
But I love you.
It's just like what's the word? I'm introducing, there we go, this character, but then I have a lot of baggage with it, with all these other dogs that can kind of do the same thing. Like, just give me Doug and that's it. Don't give me all these antagonist dogs that do kind of the same thing. I didn't think it was necessary. If you gave me the whole story, Kaleb, I'll let you go in a second. If you give me the whole story of Carl and Ellie and then Ellie dies towards the end, great. Right, but don't do it towards the beginning.
Just the two of those trying to.
Dude, yes, and that be at the end. That's fine. Oh my God, how much better would that have been? Him and Carl and Ellie, and then Ellie suffering something on the following action, right, or the climax. That issue of
him want to give it up instead.
Yeah, and then him they're in the mid journey, right, and then something tragic happens to Ellie, and then Carl has to carry on by himself in her memory. How much better would that be? I mean, I love Russell and Doug, but I like Ellie more. That's my point. I like Ellie more. And,
well, and also, I mean, like you said, like the first 20 minutes was the best part. The rest of it is kind of okay. That just speaks to how good that first 20 minutes was with story building, based off the fact that this is your number two and you're like the Disney guy. You know what I mean? Like that's just that first 20 minutes is so crucial.
Pivotal. It's pivotal. Yeah. The film changes after.
It changes the way Disney kind of operated.
I encourage you guys, go back and watch it. It's a direct cut after it. You know when that part is over. It direct cuts, and it's like
hard.
It's melancholic. Yes, it's hard. It's rough, and it's just you get this whole plot, and I love that part. Give me more of that. You're kind of jaded at that point. I'm like, I don't really want to know more now. Russell's cute and great, but go fuck off with the Boy Scouts. Like, I want more of Ellie. Like, give me more of her, please. And the other lesson before we move on to our number ones, and Jacob's going to start us off, is it really teaches you life can fucking suck. They wanted to go to Paradise Falls the whole time, got a flat tire, had to pay for the car, insurance, things like that you saw. They were building up to go to Paradise Falls. Every time Carl would have to break the jar, spend the money, because life happens. Yep. And it teaches you sometimes go on that trip. Go do those things. Money. If you have a job, you have consistent income, fuck it. Do make a memory now. And you can
go on credit.
Yeah, you can fix it later. And not material things, right? Like, I love shoes, but I'd rather go on a trip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't do that to buy a fucking stupid sports car that you don't need.
Yeah, go on a trip, make memories. That's why I love our age of technology, and that's why I have a huge thing of iCloud. Because I'm going to need that when I get older. Those pictures will last forever. iCloud will last forever. I'll have all those memories. And it teaches you that, right? Do the thing when you want to do the thing, and do it with the ones you love with. Do it with the ones you love, yeah. Got it?
Something to add there?
Yeah, Caleb
One-
wanted
yeah.
to interject. Go ahead, bud.
One point when you were talking about the Paradise Falls thing and turning Charles into like this villain when he was like this guy he looked up to the whole time,
Yes.
blah blah blah. I think I don't have beef with that problem like you, because I think that shows, like your heroes aren't always who you think they're gonna be, and even like it's kind of like a grass is always greener on the other is not always greener on the other side type of deal. Like
Yes.
he's working this whole time to get to Paradise Fall, and then when he finally gets there, he kind of has this realization. Jesus
got
Christ,
it.
I can't speak.
It's a hard word.
Yeah, he has this realization that like this is nothing. I mean, he's not with Ellie, and then he's there anyway. He did this for her, but then I mean, it's not even what they expected it to be in the first place. And I
Yep.
think that speaks to that cut.
Yeah.
After like that whole prologue, you have that direct cut, because I mean that's kind of what he's done, right? He's cut off everything from his life because she
fair.
was his connector, if you will, to the rest of the world and experiencing the world. So it kind of works for me. I
I
don't.
see what you're saying, but it just gives us another plot that we didn't have to have. I think they worked too hard unnecessarily, right?
Sure.
I think we already had that previous plot. I get your point. I'm not disagreeing, but I think if we stuck with that, we didn't need that second part, right? We didn't. What lesson does that teach us, right? Because when I teach, I'm all about theme. We have 5 components to a story. Theme is the most important, at least in my opinion, right? That's subjective. English is subjective. Movies, all this shit, and that's why we're talking about it, right? That's we can have a podcast about it. Is because it's subjective, right? Subjectivity and objectivity are different. Subjective is that we all get to indulge and have opinions, right? I just don't think it was needed. They worked too hard. They did too much. Sometimes less is more. Charmin, right? Wipe your ass a little bit less.
The theme, I think, is like don't be so caught up on where you're going that you forget where you are. Like he was so caught up on going to Paradise Falls, he didn't look at the rest of the world,
And
but we can move on.
Turned 100. No, I love it, and you're right. I love the conversation you brought because it's an important film to me. And not to get too in detail, but I would not have my girlfriend if it weren't for this film, right? I mean, she noticed when we met that I was putting makeup on for work or whatever. Anyway, she saw my tattoo and she like that's her favorite film of all time. Up's her number one, right? And we wouldn't have met without it. And that will be the theme of when we eventually get married, and it's near and dear, right? So I love the critiques and all that. It's just a really, really important film.
Did she work at Disney as well?
Yeah, that's where we met. We met.
So-
I mean, I wouldn't live here in Florida if we didn't work at Disney.
You
Go
were
ahead,
getting
Jake.
dressed for work. Like,
I
were
had
you guys actually at work, like in the same locker room? Because what the fuck were you doing in the same
No,
locker room?
no. No, we wore vests, PhotoPass vests that you just put on top of your shirt. So I was putting my clothes on, like my vest on top of my
Oh,
stuff. So
okay.
I
I was
wasn't.
going to say, you fucking dog.
Where is it?
you.
Is it on your shoulder? Your up tattoo? It's on your
Yeah.
shoulder, right?
Yeah, it's on my arm.
Yeah.
It's on my arm. So she just saw the house on there. So I wasn't completely naked, which everyone else I'm sure would have wished I was. But
Hit him with a helicopter dick. Get some
I always do.
meatspin.com. Go there. All right, guys, we're done with our top 4. We're right under an hour. We're killing it. We're doing a really good job. So we're going to spend a little bit more time here on our number 1. Give your pros and cons, and if you want to go on a tangent like I always do because I'm long-winded, then we'll go for it. Jacob, you start us off with your number 1. We should all have concrete number 1s. Jacob, go ahead.
This is a concrete number 1, and it's already been mentioned by everybody. Hercules is
Awesome.
my favorite Disney film of all
I feel
time.
bad because it was like my number 4, and then everyone else is
no,
like
it's-
the 1 and
it's-
2.
But it's everyone's different. Like Greek mythology to me is like that's why I still, even though it's not a good interpretation of the movie, I still enjoy watching Percy Jackson. And I'm glad they're doing a new version of it. But
That's how some things are. When you get that criteria, Greek mythology, give me whatever, even if it's shitty.
Exactly.
It's a new perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. And also I'm a big fantasy guy, like a big Lord of the Rings guy and stuff. So instead of talking more about Hercules, because we've already talked about it in depth, I just want to give a couple quick shout outs. I know Disney Plus now has this on there, so it's technically a Disney movie to me. Nicolas Cage in Book of Secrets 2.
National
Yeah,
Treasure
Nicky
2
Cage-
Book of
Yeah.
Secrets.
Every fucking We Don't Know movies I'm on, we're talking about Nicky Cage for at least 20 seconds, okay? He fucking killed it.
You know what's weird
This
is I
breakout
do
role.
love Nicolas Cage.
He fucking murdered this role.
In that case,
okay?
we don't know movies isn't going to last very long.
Well, that's why it's called We Don't Know movies.
Yeah, fair, because Nicolas Cage is fucking trash.
But in all
I
seriousness,
will
He's not
say
trash.
I
he's
do
less
wanna say-
Nicolas Cagey in the National Treasure movies, so
He
I
does
can
that.
I can tolerate it.
face like 3 times. But seriously though, I would give a shout out to Emperor's New Groove. It's probably
yeah.
one of the
It's
really
funnier
good. Shout out to that one.
movies.
Dude, good call, man.
I
Good
really
call.
like that one. Just Gronk and what's her name?
Yzma.
Yzma.
I was gonna say Ilsa,
Yzma.
but I know it's
Dude,
not
I love the dynamic they give to that film.
It's so funny.
Does anyone else think it's kind of like a DreamWorks kind of feel? I forget it's Disney sometimes.
Does. Yeah, because I forget that Atlantis is also Disney, but it's because they came out at the same time. But
Yeah, they
I
did.
cannot remember the actor's name for the life of me. The guy that plays him.
David Spade.
David Spade.
Yes.
No. I know that's who you guys are thinking of, but I'm thinking about the guy that plays Gronk.
Patrick Warburton.
Thank you.
Well,
I think
Robert
he's just so
Gronkowski
funny.
is not in the film. His name is Kronk. But Miss Muffa said Gronk.
But like the little lines, like no, he's got a good point there. Like the little angel on his shoulder and like, the long lever line. Like,
I love the
they're
dynamic they
hilarious.
bring. Yeah.
It's a really funny movie. I mean, the story, it is what it is. It's it's quirky.
Yeah.
But I feel like that one doesn't always get its due. So I just want to make sure we got a quick shout out for Emperor's New Groove.
I will say this:
I went to Peru and Cusco. Yeah, I went to Cusco and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in the Emperor's New Groove right now.
Yeah,
Everything,
that's
like all the pottery, everything like that. It was perfect.
Yeah.
They hit the nail on the head. I feel like.
Is it a play off the Emperor's New Clothes? Is that like the joke that they're making? Because like the Emperor's New Clothes is like,
it's
the invisible
pun,
cloth,
play on
like,
words, I guess.
'cause he's just walking around naked and everyone like just goes with it.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I play on words, I guess, yeah. I would say, though, you brought up Atlantis, and speaking of Dreamcast, I think about this all the time. That Milo, the only actor that could play Milo, I think, would be Cole Sprouse, and I think about that all the time. That Cole Sprouse would make
That's
such
a
a
good
good
point.
fucking Milo. Like,
Holy shit.
dude, because he did a photo shoot. Like, if you guys go on his Instagram, like a year ago, where he kind of looked like Milo. He did like the white tee with the glasses and the old 1920s vintage feel. Sold me. I know. I digress. But
I'm not gonna scroll through a year of Cole Sprouse's Instagram.
Okay, well,
I'll let you send it to
you're
me.
lost. That's
I'll
okay.
let you
Sure,
send it
I'll
to
do
me.
the fucking work for you, Caleb.
Real quick, just so we can get this on.
Caleb will do
video.
Dylan's.
Oh, no, that's got
Dylan
that
who?
out.
Sprouse?
Sprouse.
You uncultured swine. Dylan who? My fucking
Well, he was
God.
talking about Dylan O'Brien for the last 2 weeks. So
That's fair. Okay, never mind. I'm on your side. Dylan
Okay.
O'Brien, dick sucker over there. All right. Moving along, boys.
A quick Google search gets you what you need to see.
Jared,
Okay.
what is your numero uno?
Numero uno. So it was Jacob's number 5. Fox and the Hound is my number 1.
I knew it fucking
And,
was. I didn't even have to ask you.
Nice.
And your shitty ass
You don't even
audio.
have to ask.
Go ahead.
The Fox and the Hound is me and my brother's favorite movie, Disney movie. I love all the characters. I love Big Mama. I love Boomer. I love Dinky. Boomer and Dinky get me every time with
Yeah.
all their scenes. They are hilarious. And I'm with Jacob. The only con that I had is the light that they put on Slade for hunting and stuff like that.
Sure.
And
It's definitely a
Wasn't that
bias.
just
I
they
mean,
make hunters in general look ignorant.
Absolutely, yeah. It
Yeah.
just
They
makes you
do.
look
They
stupid.
do make them look
Slade's a
ignorant.
piece of shit. Like, let's not get that mixed
And
up.
I really want to
is.
perpetuate
That's
the
just the
idea.
first. Yeah.
Of dichotomy. It's just good and bad, and I hate it, dude. It's really cancerous, right? The good or bad, stupid or smart, right? People can be a little bit of both, and you guys are right that
Exactly.
it just
That's
puts
why
a
people
bad.
love Thanos from Infinity War, because it's like, oh, well, we can at
Yes.
least see. Yeah. Wow. Caleb, just,
Caleb, fuck. That's Milo,
Wow.
though. Look at him. That's Milo. You can't see his face. Caleb did a shitty job, but
I
that's
can't
Milo.
control where it puts it.
But guys, tell me that's not
that's what
fucking
she said.
Milo.
That is. I can see that.
Especially with my 2-inch Punisher. All right, dude. Awesome. Number 1. I knew that. I just know you too well. I knew that was coming anyway. But I love Fox now. But the theme is the best part. And I'm a theme guy. But just the message it gives you, bro. Like, just love what you have while you have it.
Friends
When You're the Best of
forever.
Friends is probably one of my favorite Disney songs.
Yeah, oh, it's so good. And being misunderstood is important to fix, right?
And don't leave
Our
your
friendship
fucking
being
animals.
misunderstood is crazy to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going through that now, Jared. That's your life. You're a very animalistic. If that's a word. Animal type person, right?
I am. I love animals.
So I know that's near and dear to you.
He's hairy, like animal.
Yeah.
All right, man. Caleb, you're up. What is your numero uno?
You already know my number 1 is always The Lion King.
Nice.
We've said it. We've talked about it. It's
Yeah, I
great.
knew that. Yeah.
I
You
wonder why
said-
it hadn't come up yet. I was like, it must be up like number 1 and 2 for people.
Oh yeah,
Caleb's the OG. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love the Disney Renaissance. That's my shit. I like the other ones, but I live in the Disney Renaissance. But I mean, yeah, I love
It's weird
I love
that Lion King's in
Shakespeare.
the 90s.
It's the Renaissance goes from 89 to 99.
Correct. I looked that up the other day. I thought it was like in the 60s, starting Cinderella. No, it's not. It's 89, 99, that decade.
Oh, okay.
It's the
Started with the
Renaissance
Little
decade.
Mermaid.
Yeah, get Snow White and Cinderella. Out
And
of this
it ended with Tarzan.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, okay. Gotcha.
It's a decade. Just remember that. I always thought like Snow White, Pinocchio. No, that is not Renaissance.
No,
Disney.
that's
Yeah.
like
Pinocchio's
OG.
OG,
back in
and
the
I
day.
thought, but that's kind of what Renaissance is. That dates back to the
Sure.
1500s. But it's just a term, whatever.
Term for
But no,
enlightenment,
yeah,
right?
I love Shakespeare. It's Hamlet. I don't mind that. I love that. My negative is I never saw a lion fuck up a gazelle. I mean, Mufasa talks about eating the gazelles, but we never see that shit, and I was
Yeah.
waiting for it the whole movie.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would've loved
Oh,
it so much.
God.
If
But-
Disney would have put that in the film, though, I'm sure they would have got backlash at the
Oh,
time.
of course.
Fucking
Of
gore out
course.
the ass, just a fucking neck and split open.
God.
I will give my shout out though, since we've already discussed my number one, to The Incredibles, which I loved when it first came out. I loved the jazzy, Silver Age kind of comic feel it's got to it. How it's like you don't really know what time it kind of takes place in, but
retro
you can tell
future?
it's kind of like that 60s,
Yeah.
50s vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like the soundtrack to it, it's very great. I love the family dynamic. I love superheroes, so you throw some superpowers in there, I'm all for it.
Yep. I get that.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Can I put I guess I'll put a shout out movie in since I haven't.
Good.
I love Wreck-It Ralph.
I've
Yeah,
never
that's
seen
a-
Wreck-It Ralph actually.
I did not like it.
Really?
Second one's good. Didn't like the first one.
It's
I
funny.
haven't seen the second one yet.
It's
Um,
funny, and it's with like arcade games.
It's
So,
hard. Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
I like the underlying things there, but it's hard to like a movie when you just don't like the main character. And I don't like Ralph. I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
Is it
I
He was-
is
understand.
it like Ralph specifically, or like do you not like John C. Riley or his portrayal, or
Really,
what?
John C. Riley, but it's not that deep. Like I don't like John C.
love
Riley,
John
but
C.
I didn't
Reilly.
like Ralph. Like it's just annoying, dude. Like I don't connect with you. If I can't connect with you, how am I going to be interested to the plot and everything else? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I just wasn't my thing. 2 was good though. Ralph Wrecks the Internet. 2's better than 1 to me. But I just did not like Wreck-It Ralph, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a solid like 6 out of 10.
He's gonna wreck it.
I'm gonna wreck it, dude. That's oh my god, that'd be a
Why
great
do I
sex
fix
theme.
everything I touch?
I'm gonna wreck it. Yeah. All right, guys. So my number 1.
Drum roll.
Frozen.
Can anyone guess it? I will cash app somebody if you guess my number 1. One guess.
Give me 2 seconds.
Your number one
Don't
one hit.
fucking look it up. No, no one hit.
is
Caleb, you get a guess.
Frozen.
Incorrect. Jacob,
Nope.
what's your shot
I'm
for a
gonna
$5
go with
prize winner?
Pocahontas.
Incorrect. J. Dot, what is your guess? I feel like you might know it.
I said Fantasia.
No, it came out after
Anastasia. We already went over
It did
this.
come out after Up. It is San Francisco.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero
I
6.
that was almost the one I referenced
Oh,
earlier instead
okay.
of yeah.
Dude, guys,
Good
I
call.
remember, man. It was probably the first time I cried in like 5 years when I
Good
watched that
fucking
film.
call.
I love Big Hero 6, bro. Like it is. Up is a distant. It's not a 1A 1B for me. Big Hero 6 is number 1, and nothing is even close. And if you haven't seen it, like it's just the best Disney film of all time. Like
Sell it to me. I
love
haven't seen it.
Stan Lee.
All right,
Isn't
here I
Stan
go.
Lee in that movie?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He has a cameo. All right, so here's my sell pitch. This is what I wrote the positive. Not everything you connect to or love has to be human, right? Not everything you connect to has to be fleeting or changing. Hero connects to this object that his brother was working on, right? He puts faith and trust into this object, into Baymax, right? Into this object. And, it goes in with my con is a spoiler alert, but it happens at the very beginning of the film, is that Tadashi dies way too soon. His brother, right? I think he just dies way too soon. The plot still could have been just as effective if he dies towards the end of the plot. And the last 15 minutes could show a quick synopsis of Hero adapting to a new life without his brother. I would have liked to see Hero grow with his brother a bit more, but I just love the lessons that Hero is taught at such a young age. It's such a real thing. It matters to me. I lost my brother at a young age, and Hero loses his brother in a fiery flame. And it affected me in a real way. That how he had to maneuver through life. This isn't just some lovey-dovey thing. Hero's a fucking child in high school learning. It's a big message for Disney to give that his brother is gone. He's nothing without his brother. He doesn't have friends. He's not likable. He's a quiet, shy guy, a geek. He loves working with his hands. He's an engineer, and he wants to be like his brother. He wants to go to this con to show that he can do things, and that's what Tadashi did. He was building this healthcare companion in Baymax, right? And Baymax is supposed to help those, be like a support system. And me, I have mental health issues and have my whole life, and Baymax is there. He's a mental support and healthcare support companion to love and to care for you when you're in need. And when Tadashi dies, Baymax is only in the process of being built. He's not built yet, but Hero is depressed. And Disney doesn't often do that. Give us a character who's depressed. It does in Frozen, but Hero gets depressed and probably doesn't have that much joy in life anymore. And he sees Baymax halfway completed and completes Baymax through his brother, and his brother lives through Baymax. And we get that feeling, and I'm not going to spoil it for Kaleb, but the ending is the most emotional ending for me. I cried like a fucking baby. Like, I was bawling in the theaters when I saw the ending. It affected me like nothing else. And I was like, holy fuck, Disney. Like, it's number one and not even close. Like, I watched it in theaters 3 times. Like, it was, I mean, and Jess and I cosplayed as Tadashi and Honey Lemon one time, character. But I love Big Hero 6, and I don't think anything will ever replace it as number one. It's my favorite film. So hopefully I sold you a little bit, at least to watch it, Kaleb.
I might watch it tonight or maybe this weekend.
It's fucking amazing. You really should. You should watch that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised it's not on anyone else's because you guys had the OGs like Lion King and stuff like that, and that's
it's
why
on my top 10, but it didn't make my top 5 because I've only seen it one time. So
it hit me at a important time in my life when I needed it most. I guess I just moved out. I was on my own. It was back in like 2015. I was like by myself, and I needed it. It gave me what I needed. I probably won't get any other Disney film. As I'm an adult, I get my consistent life schedule now. So I was at a fluctuating time in my life, and I saw it with a friend who I was very close to that time. It was there when I needed it most, and I loved it. It was right before I moved to Disney and worked for Disney. It was one of the main reasons I applied to work for Disney was because that film was so fucking good. So it changed me in a lot of ways, and I really, really enjoy it.
That's what's up.
All right, guys. I know I'm super long-winded, and I went on, but Jacob wanted me to sell him a pitch, so I sold him a pitch. Or excuse me, Kaleb did. Guys, any more party notes before we leave our episode of We Don't Know Movies? Top 5 Disney films.
Shout out Pocahontas. Shout out Inspector Gadget. Shout out The Princess and the Frog. Shout out Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Monsters, Inc., Monsters University. Great sequels, great films.
I love Treasure Planet as well.
Dude,
Treasure Planet is
yes!
good.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Shut up, Jacob.
National treasure.
You already said it.
Goodbye. All right, guys. On that note, Treasure Planet, great shout out, great video game. All right, boys, that is another episode of We Don't Know Movies, top 5 Disney films / Pixar. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Co-host, cohorts, you guys killed it. We had our parting gifts. Anything else, boys?
Do it for me.
All right, we are out until next time. We will get at you next week. Bye-bye.